Hello and welcome to CoreTV News on the Hour. I am Omotayo Alo. The Federal High Court in Abuja has summoned the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, to appear in court on Monday to explain the security siege on the Abuja residence of former National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki. Justice Adini Ademola issued the summons following complaints by Dasuki's lawyers that the court order allowing the former NSA to travel for medical treatment has been flouted by operatives of the Department of State Service. Prosecution counsel Shuaibu Labaron had earlier declined to confirm the presence of DSS in Dasuki's Asokoro Abuja home, but admitted that he was being investigated in another money laundering matter. Justice Ademola, who was not comfortable with the violation of his order, told the prosecution counsel to inform his client to learn how to respect and obey the fact that the orders
have not been obeyed. But the court, in its wisdom, has now invited the Attorney General of the Federation, being a very serious issue on disobedience of court order. So we say no more until when the Attorney General, who is a very responsible officer of the law, will be here.
President Muhammad Buhari has sworn in 16 new permanent secretaries into the Federal Civil Service. Appointment came in the wake of the retirement of 17 permanent secretaries from the civil service. At the swearing-in, President Buhari cautioned the civil servant against actions that could degrade their office. State House correspondent Abiola Oluwole has the details.
The swearing-in of 16 out of the 18 newly appointed permanent secretaries is coming a day after the inauguration of the Federal Executive Council and 2 days after the retirement of 18 permanent secretaries. After administering the oath of office on the new permanent secretaries, President Buhari charged the new appointees to get down to work immediately by assisting government in achieving said goal for the country.
As you are aware, the responsibilities bestowed on you are so enormous that the success or otherwise of the government will largely depend on your competence, ability and capacity to discharge your duties most effectively and efficiently.
The president also cautioned the new permanent secretaries against indifference, incompetence and corruption.
This administration will not condone any excesses, indifference, incompetence, and corrupt practices in any form. Permanent secretaries are therefore advised to note these words of caution and disseminate them to all civil servants accordingly.
As the new permanent secretaries assume office, political watchers expect them to breathe life into the articulated objective of the federal government in their public service. From the presidential villa in Abuja, Abiola Oluwole, CoreTV News.
Supreme Court has stopped the trial of Senate President Bukola Saraki at the Code of Conduct Tribunal on charges of false asset declaration. The case initiated by the federal government against Senator Saraki was put on hold pending the hearing and determination of his appeal challenging the legality of his trial at the tribunal. The Supreme Court's decision came after Saraki's lead counsel, Joseph Daudu, had argued for a stay of proceedings at the tribunal, which the prosecution counsel Rotimi Jacobs did not initially accept. But in an unanimous decision read by Justice John Fabi, the Apex Court ordered the tribunal to stop its proceedings for now. Judicial correspondent Basil Okafor has more in this report presented from our studios.
With the order of Supreme Court on Thursday, the trial of the Senate President will not continue until the Apex Court determines his appeal. Saraki is challenging the decision of the Court of Appeal, which had earlier sanctioned his trial for charges bordering on false declaration of assets. At the hearing of his application for stay of proceedings, Prosecution Counsel Rotimi Jacobs, who had earlier objected to the Supreme Court granting the application, later made a U-turn. This was after his argument that Section 306 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 has removed the inherent powers of any court, including the Supreme Court, to grant a stay of proceedings in a criminal matter. But in a unanimous decision, Justice Fabi-led 5-man panel ordered the proceedings at the CCT to stop. He also gave 7 days each to both parties to file and exchange briefs of their arguments on the substantive appeal.
Yes, so the stay has been granted. So we'll hear from the court when the process.
The Supreme Court wanted all the parties to, once I could read the demeanor of their lordships, that they were minded for parties to stay action pending the time that the appeal will be decided. So, and they are minded to grant accelerated hearing. So that is what happened. The court granted accelerated hearing and then asked parties to file processes.
The Apex Court, however, announced that a date for hearing of substantive appeal will be communicated to parties as soon as it is fixed.
Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom is convinced that the appointment of Audu Ogbe as Minister of Agriculture will accelerate the development of the sector. The governor said this in reaction to the allotment of portfolios to the new cabinet members by President Muhammad Buhari. Ortom, who himself is a former minister, argued that Ogbe is fully equipped to turn agriculture into major foreign exchange earner in Nigeria.
Benue State is the food basket of this nation, and Audugbe is known for his passion for agriculture and beyond that, agribusiness. And we believe that with Audugbe as minister, Benue State will collaborate with him very well, and Nigeria will have dividends of democracy through agriculture. We believe that we are endowed with the capacity to deliver and sustain food security for our nation, even beyond our nation.
The newly inaugurated Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has charged staff of the ministry to come forward with whatever they know about the challenges in the sector. Fashola, who took over control of the ministry after the inauguration of the federal cabinet, said he wanted to know if the problems bedeviling the sector are systemic or man-made. The minister explained that his thoughts are on bringing together processes of all the ministries under his supervision, assured the ministry's leadership of his willingness to learn from them since they have been on the job for a long time. He added that he is also interested in enhancing the available human resources and physical assets because Nigerians are anxiously waiting for improved power supply nationwide. Earlier, the Minister of State, Power Works and Housing, Mustafa Shehuri, said a detailed ministerial briefing document should be provided as a guide for proper takeoff. We take a quick break and we'll be back with more stories. Stay with us.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Political Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
Welcome, and if you're just joining us, it's CoreTV News on the Hour. For more of our news and information, visit our social media platform, facebook.com/CoreTV News, our Twitter handle @CoreTV News NG. Could get more on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space and news. A civil rights activist, Eze Onyekpere, is demanding a 40% reduction in the allowances of lawmakers in the National Assembly. Oye Pere, who is also the Director Center for Social Justice, was speaking at a public lecture on cost of governance organized by the Nigerian Labour Congress in Abuja. It says the allocation and expenditure of the legislature is not only frivolous but also appalling. Correspondent Basiaye has more.
The one-day public lecture at the instance of organized labor is with a view to demanding a cut in the budget of the federal legislature. It is therefore not surprising that the lecture began with a history of the budget of the National Assembly from 1999 to date. According to the guest speaker, there is no legal justification for the baseless and epileptic increase in the budget.
The overall goal and objectives of what we did, because we went to study to find out what exactly is the test of things in the cost of running the legislature. We looked at their budgets from 1999-2000 up till the present day and see whether it was moving up or moving down. We examined the parameters that were taken into consideration by the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission when it reviewed the salaries of political office holders, including the legislators, in the year 2007. We also looked at the people they consulted and those parameters that they took into consideration. We looked at what happens in other jurisdictions, specifically in South Africa, in Ghana. We looked at what happens in Australia, Germany, US, Britain. And we now were able to arrive at some conclusions which showed through empirical research that what we are suggesting is not just what we picked up the shelf, or not what we decided to talk simply because we can talk, but because we are running a system that is not in tandem with how other people who are very reasonable.
He made a case for a review of the Political, Public and Judicial Office Holders Act of 2008 to accommodate the reduction in allowances in line with current economic realities. The rights activists argue that steps must be taken to cancel the retroactive effects of such reviews.
Why we are focusing on them, to say if they decide to get things right, Nigeria will move in the right direction. And this is particularly more important today that we have the mainstay of our national economy, which is crude oil, plummeting from the heights of over $100 per barrel to what we have today, which is about $40-something per barrel.
The legislative reforms he suggested include a reduction in the number of committees in both chambers of the National Assembly. Basiaye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The People's Democratic Party on Thursday fired 4 shots at the ruling All Progressives Congress and President Muhammad Buhari. Its members used the platform of PDP's National Conference in Abuja to accuse the APC of not acting fairly in its dealings. Jamil Afegba reports.
Unlike in the past, when the party's events were held in much larger venues, members of the People's Democratic Party converged on a relatively smaller venue, an indication that it is no longer the ruling party. Declaring the conference open, chairman of the organizing committee, Raymond Dokwesi, asked members to learn from its past mistakes so as to reposition the party.
The general elections dealt our party a big and reversible blow. It is one thing to suffer such a setback at the polls anywhere in the world, but more significant and challenging is how quickly you learn from your mistakes and effect the requisite adjustments necessary to restore the winning ways.
Acting PDP chairman Uche Secondus asked members to relive the ideals and values of the founding fathers in bringing out a formidable agenda.
It is also a forum for reliving the ideals, values, and inspiration of the founding fathers of our party. It is the ideal platform for articulating and marketing the roadmap for the way forward for our party.
In their addresses, Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu and Ondo State Governor Olusegun Mimiko landed subtle attacks on the APC for not fulfilling its promises to the Nigerian people. They also spoke about what they see as selective justice.
No campaign promise, I repeat,
no promise made by the present APC administration has been kept. They promised to scale up the exchange rate of our currency to a naira to $1. Have they kept this promise? They promised to bring back the cheaper gas in 3 months. Have they brought back the cheaper gas? They promised to pay 5,000 to 25 million unemployed youths. Have they paid the cable any youth? They promised free meal to our children in schools. Have they given any?
What is due to the goose is good for the gander. And we are, at this juncture, appealing to Mr. President. We believe that Mr. President has no hand in it, but he must appeal to the little Hitlers around his government to release the Kogi bailout fund now. The Kogi bailout fund must be released now to prove that Mr. President can actually rise above partisan politics.
Problems within the ranks of the party had forced many members to leave, but some surviving members believe that all will be well.
We have a lot of our great people, so we have to sort of like start working on them, making sure that we all come together, because it's really, politics is a game of numbers. A lot of people were really aggrieved, and for good reasons. So we have to make sure that the mistakes that were made in the past won't be repeated again.
There can't be a largest party like this that won't be any crisis. But the process that leading to the candidates in our party, we discovered that there's a little problem on it. And we have agreed on that. We have identified that problem and we are going to resolve. And that is why we are returning the party back to the youth. That whoever that want to represent this party in any elective position should go back to the people and let people identify with you, identify yourself with the people. And if people say you are the one, they are the one, and they will give it back the ticket. And that is why we want to identify with the popular people for popular candidates.
The conference was called to re-strategize and rebuild the party ahead of 2019. Party faithfuls from the 36 states and the FCT were in attendance. Jamil Afegwa, CoreTV News, Abuja.
In reaction, the All Progressive Congress has accused the opposition People's Democratic Party of defeat-induced impatience. National Secretary of the APC, Mai Bala Buni, made the accusation in Abuja. He said opposition political parties, especially the PDP, have grown increasingly impatient because they are yet to overcome the hangover of the electoral defeat. Bala Buni said this while responding to a statement by the PDP. The party advised the PDP to face its rebranding pursuit instead of running down the performing government. The Imo state government has cut down the number of ministries in the state from 22 to 13. Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha disclosed this after a meeting with all the permanent secretaries at the government house in Owerri. The Imo State capital, he said the new development in the state civil service is part of plan to restructure the civil service and make it more efficient and effective. Governor Okorocha also noted that due to the dwindling revenue allocation, the state government would need to cut down on cost of governance and look inward so as to increase the internally generated revenue of the state. As the December 19th local government election date beckons in Ekiti State, the State Independent Electoral Commission and the All Progressive Congress have once again taken themselves to the cleaners. This is coming as it becomes clearer by the day that all other opposition parties will boycott the forthcoming poll, even as the Commission vows to go on with the election, even if the PDP will be the sole party to contest. Rashid has more on this report from Ado Ekiti.
Since the constitution of the Ekiti State Independent Electoral Commission saddled with the conduct of local council elections, various issues have been raised by opposition parties, while the All Progressives Congress alleged partisanship on the part of the commission's chairman, going as far as taking him to court. The commission seems undeterred. It says the polls will go ahead even if only the PDP will contest. The commission added that conducting elections with a single party is in order.
A supervisor for an election must be people of proven integrity and must be non-partisan, but in this case,
the Ekiti SEC, the Fayoshe government SEC is PDP SEC, not independent SEC.
PDP is the only party that have shown interest. There's no electoral law which says if there's one political party that show up for an election, the election should not be conducted.
Despite the boycott and the pending court case, XCX says the election will go ahead, but the APC insists that it will not participate.
Barring any odds, and by the grace of God, local government election will go on 19th of December 2015.
We cannot participate under such a biased body, under such a politically constituted body.
With the December 19th date drawing closer by the day, the days ahead will surely bring more dramas. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
And on the foreign scene, Myanmar's opposition, the National League for Democracy, NLD, has won a landslide election victory. With more than 80% contested seats now declared, officials say Aung San Suu Kyi's party has more than 2/3 it needs to choose the president, ending decades of military-backed rule. A quarter of seats are automatically held by the military, which means that it remains hugely influential, and under the constitution, Ms. Suu Kyi cannot become president herself. Despite this, the election is seen as the first openly contested poll in Myanmar, also known as Burma, in 25 years. The NLD, however, needs 2 more votes to reach the threshold required for a majority. And it's a wrap on CoreTV News at this hour. Thank you so very much for joining us. My name is Omotayo Alo. Bye for now.